Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard your promise, but if you don't act now, the enemy may strike again. Weed carefully. My beloved child, the moment you were born, heaven assigned guardians to watch over your destiny, and among them, one stands unmatched in power, authority, and divine warfare, Archangel Michael. Yes, the very same warrior who cast Lucifer out of heaven, who commands legions of angels with a single word, has been appointed to guard something sacred in your life, your promise. But here's the truth very few understand. Promises are not passive blessings. They are battlegrounds. Every divine promise attracts both divine protection and demonic opposition. Right now, you are in a critical moment. The promise over your life, that breakthrough, that calling, that restoration, has been seen, marked, and targeted. The enemy has sensed the light around it, and he's moving fast. And heaven has responded. Michael, the archangel of war, has been assigned to your case. His sword glows with divine fire, his wings stretch beyond time, and his presence shakes the darkness. But he does not move without your agreement. You see, divine guardianship is never forced, it's activated by obedience. If you stay still, uncertain, doubting, or afraid, the enemy can strike again. But if you act now, if you rise to Claire, and stand, Michael is released in full power. This isn't a random message. It's a divine alert. Somewhere in the unseen realm, a war has already begun. You've been feeling the pressure lately, unexplained delays, sudden losses, emotional fatigue, not by coincidence, but by confrontation. The enemy isn't fighting you because of who you are right now, but because of what you're about to become. Your promise carries generational impact. It's not just your destiny, it's your legacy. Michael has been given command to protect that legacy, but even heaven respects human hesitation. When you doubt, heaven pauses. When you act in faith, heaven accelerates. So ask yourself, are you moving toward the promise, or are you standing still at the gate of fear? Because in the spiritual realm, hesitation is an open door. Imagine Michael standing guard beside you, his sword raised, his eyes blazing with celestial fire. He's waiting for your command, for your agreement, for your faith to unlock his next move. The enemy is hoping you'll ignore this message, hoping you'll treat it like any other word. But you can't, because what's being decided in this season will echo for years. The heavens are watching. The angels are aligned. The question is, will you move? Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, as the winds of destiny stir, the heavens begin to shift. You may not see it with your eyes, but right now, invisible hands are drawing lines of battle across the unseen. Every whisper of fear, every breath of doubt, every night you felt abandoned, it was never random. It was the sound of spiritual conflict rising behind the veil. When Michael is assigned, the entire atmosphere changes. His presence does not enter a place quietly, it thunders through every barrier. His arrival means one thing, the promise has entered warfare. The moment you decided to believe, heaven took your faith as a signal, and the enemy took it as a challenge. But here's what you must remember, Michael never loses. His strength is not from himself, but from the command of the Most High. He moves at the voice of divine authority, and that same authority lives inside of you. When you speak faith, you don't just inspire heaven, you activate heaven. Your words are not small. They are keys, unlocking doors in the supernatural. You might be wondering, why me? Why would heaven assign such a mighty warrior to me? Because, my beloved child, there is something inside you that terrifies the enemy. He doesn't fight what isn't a threat. He fights what carries divine weight, your potential, your anointing, your purpose. It shakes darkness even when you don't realize it. But let me warn you, the enemy is cunning. He doesn't always attack with visible chaos. Sometimes he comes quietly, through distraction, delay, or discouragement. He makes you question your timing, your worth, and even your promise. He plants whispers that sound like your own thoughts. Maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe I missed my chance. Those aren't your thoughts, my child. Those are arrows, and every arrow you entertain weakens your guard. Michael can only defend what you refuse to surrender. The moment you give up on your promise, you give permission for the enemy to touch it. But the moment you stand up, even trembling, and say, I still believe, heaven reactivates its army around you. Now listen carefully, because this is where many lose their blessing. The promise is not protected by emotion, it's protected by alignment. It means your actions, your thoughts, your speech. All must align with faith. You can't pray for victory and speak defeat in the same breath. You can't say, I'm chosen, and live like you're forgotten. The heavens respond to consistency, not confusion. Archangel Michael watches the faith inside you like a flame. When it burns bright, he moves swiftly. When it dims, he waits. Not because he is powerless, but because heaven will never override human will. That's why your prayer, your worship, and your obedience are not religious rituals. They are signals summoning divine activity. Right now, in realms beyond sight, your name is being spoken. Angels are being positioned. Strategies are being written. Michael is preparing a defense line so strong that when the enemy strikes again, his attack will backfire into his own destruction. But for that to happen, you must move in faith now. You are not powerless. You are a partner with the divine. You are the earthly representative of a heavenly covenant. The same authority that raised kingdoms and silenced storms flows through your spirit. You were never meant to fight from fear. You were meant to fight from victory. So speak it out loud. Declare what has been promised to you, don't whisper it. Proclaim it. Because every time you declare faith in the face of fear, Michael draws his sword higher. Every time you refuse to quit, the enemy loses ground. But do not underestimate this season. The storm is rising because your promise is near. The closer you get to fulfillment, the harder the opposition. It's not proof of failure. It's confirmation of progress. The enemy fights hardest when he's closest to losing. So stay anchored. Don't be moved by what you see. What you see is temporary. What is written about you in heaven is eternal. Heaven has invested too much in you to let you fall now. Michael is not assigned to protect a mistake. He's assigned to preserve a masterpiece. And that masterpiece is you. In the coming days, you will notice signs. Dreams may intensify, emotions may surge, and unexpected resistance may arise. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that the spiritual climate is shifting. The warfare around your promise is confirmation that it's being prepared for manifestation. And here's something you must remember. When you share this truth, you multiply protection. Don't keep what's happening to yourself. Someone connected to you is also under attack, and your testimony could be their warning. So, before moving forward, pause, share this message. Let someone else hear that Archangel Michael is fighting for their promise too. Encourage them to believe again. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this journey. Because every word here is not just a message, it's a divine alignment. When you stay connected to revelation, you stay connected to protection. Comment your faith below. Declare your promise out loud, and let heaven see your agreement. You are not watching by accident. You are being summoned to a spiritual awakening, a moment where faith and warfare collide, and the outcome is victory. Now, breathe deeply. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine the heavens above you glowing with power. Michael stands ready. His eyes are fixed on the horizon. He is waiting for your command. Will you rise in faith today, or will you hesitate and let the storm decide for you? The choice is yours, my beloved child. But remember, divine protection moves at the speed of your obedience. Act now. Declare now. Believe now. Because the moment you do, Michael moves instantly. And what was meant to harm you will begin to crumble under heaven's power. Don't skip. Something extraordinary is still unfolding. My beloved child, time has always been heaven's most mysterious weapon. It is not the ticking of a clock, but the rhythm of divine strategy. Every second that passes in your life is watched, measured, and balanced between what you're prepared for and what has been promised to you. Yet in that divine space, the enemy works relentlessly, weaving delay into your path to make you believe that heaven has forgotten, but heaven never forgets. The pose is not puttiment. It is preparation. Michael knows this pattern too well. He has seen destinies delayed because faith weakened before fulfillment. He has seen people step out of alignment just moments before their breakthrough. He has fought for generations of believers who surrendered when the battle was nearly won. That is why his presence now is urgent, because your timing has reached a threshold. The enemy has set traps of distraction and deception around your days, hoping to pull your focus from faith to frustration. But Michael stands at the edge of your promise, sword drawn, waiting for your persistence to match heaven's pace. When Daniel prayed for understanding, his answer was dispatched instantly. But for 21 days, the messenger angel was resisted by the prince of Persia, a demonic ruler blocking divine messages. It was only when Michael stepped in that the message broke through. The same dynamic is happening in your life now. Your prayers have already been answered, but something unseen has tried to block the delivery. The reason you feel delayed is because your answer is under spiritual intersection. But do not lose heart. Every time you speak faith, it strengthens Michael's intervention. Every word of gratitude, every declaration of trust is a strike against the forces trying to silence your promise. You're not waiting for heaven to move. Heaven is waiting for you to believe without wavering. The battle you're in is not just about what you want, it's about what's written. Here is a heavenly script of your destiny, signed by divine intention. The enemy can't erase it, but he can distract you until you stop reading it. He wants you to forget who you are, so you abandon what you carry. But remember, you were chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Heaven doesn't need flawless vessels, it needs faithful ones. Michael's sword burns with the memory of every victory he's fought for those who stood firm. He knows what happens when a child of light refuses to bow to fear. When you stand, the ground beneath you becomes holy. When you declare, the atmosphere shifts. When you refuse to retreat, the enemy retreats instead. Look closely at what's been happening around you lately. The confusion, the sudden emotional heaviness, the unexpected financial strain, it's not coincidence, it's resistance. The enemy knows he can't steal your promise, so he's trying to drain your energy until you stop protecting it. But Michael is here to remind you that divine strength is not physical, it's spiritual. You can be exhausted in body, but victorious in spirit. You can be surrounded by chaos and still stand in peace. And peace is Michael's greatest weapon. Where peace dwells, confusion cannot survive. The enemy trembles at peaceful believers because their stability frustrates his schemes. When you stay calm in battle, Heaven's warriors fight harder on your behalf. So today, breathe in peace. Let it fill you until your fear loses its voice. You must also understand that your obedience has a ripple effect. Every time you resist temptation, you are not only protecting your promise, but also fortifying the spiritual walls around your loved ones. Your strength in warfare becomes their shield in weakness. You may never see all the battles Michael fights because of your prayers, but heaven records every moment of your endurance. There will be a point when the tide turns suddenly. The pressure will lift, doors will open, and what seemed impossible will manifest quickly. When that happens, remember this: it wasn't chance, it was warfare. Your persistence activated heaven's intervention. And when Michael draws his sword, no opposition can stand. Now, let your heart prepare for what's coming next. You've been through the breaking stage, but now comes the building stage. You're stepping into a divine acceleration where things that took years will shift in days. The delay was never denial. It was a setup to make sure you would be mature enough to handle the magnitude of your blessing. Do not underestimate the power of your voice in this moment. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Every time you release words of faith, they form pathways in the unseen. Angels travel on the sound of your faith, carrying out the commands hidden in your declarations. When you say, "I believe my promise will stand," it doesn't just echo, it activates. The spiritual storm you feel is not to destroy you, it's to announce you. The shaking around you is heaven's way of saying something powerful is being born. You are not in a season of loss, you are in a season of transfer. The old things are breaking apart to make room for the new. The warfare is confirmation that something sacred is shifting into position. So my beloved child, be watchful. Be alert. Don't mistake silence for absence. When heaven is quiet, it's strategizing. When Michael pauses, it's to listen for divine instruction. Sometimes your stillness allows heaven to synchronize events you cannot yet see. And as this revelation reaches your heart, remember to keep the flame of faith alive. Comment below with your declaration of belief. Speak your promise into the atmosphere. Let others see that faith is still alive, that heaven is still moving, that Archangel Michael still guards those chosen by destiny. Share this message so that someone else's battle can find its word too. And don't forget to subscribe, because each revelation builds upon the last. Each word strengthens the shield of your spirit. You are not standing alone. You are surrounded by light, protected by power, and destined for victory. Let the heavens hear your faith, let the darkness know you refuse to surrender. Stay till the end. The revelation you've been waiting for is approaching faster than you think. My beloved child, when heaven designs a destiny, it is written not on paper, but on what Scripture calls the scroll of life. Every promise assigned to you is written there. Every victory, every miracle, every divine appointment. Nothing about your life is random. The path you are walking, even with its unexpected turns and painful pauses, was carefully designed to refine you for what's coming. But not everyone reaches the fulfillment of their scroll. Many begin with fire and end in fatigue. That is why the heavens have summoned Archangel Michael again, for the scroll of your life has reached a section where manifestation is near. But the enemy has set his eyes upon it. Michael guards not only the person of promise, but also the document of destiny. He knows what's been written about you, the blessings that must unfold, the calling you must walk into, the people you are meant to impact. But for every written blessing, there is an unwritten battle. The enemy cannot erase your promise, but he can write interference between the lines, and he does this by sowing confusion, exhaustion, and disbelief. That is why discernment in this hour is your shield. Not every opportunity is divine. Not every voice that praises you is pure, and not every delay is demonic. Some pauses are heavenly pauses, moments where Michael steps in to guard what you cannot yet see. Listen closely. The spiritual realm is a courtroom. Every promise is legally contested. The accuser, the enemy, stands to present his case, using your past mistakes as evidence that you are unworthy of what has been promised. But then, the defense rises, and Michael stands as witness, showing heaven the moments you didn't quit, the tears you cried, the prayers you whispered when no one knew you were breaking. Heaven records your endurance as righteousness, and those moments become your defense. That is why you must never underestimate what your pain has purchased in the spiritual realm. There are angels assigned to your progress, but none like Michael. His command covers the gates of destiny. He is the one who silences the accuser's tongue when the evidence of grace is revealed. But here's where you must stand alert every time a promise nears manifestation. Distractions intensify. The enemy will not attack your promise directly, he will attack your focus. He'll send noise, unnecessary battles, sudden conflicts, and emotional weight just to shift your attention. But you, my beloved child, must fix your eyes on the vision. Protect your peace like it is treasure, for peace is the atmosphere of divine clarity. If your spirit has been restless lately, it's because your name has been mentioned in the heavens again. Your promise has moved to its next phase, and with it comes spiritual exposure. Heaven has elevated your file, and the enemy noticed. But do not fear, this is a sign that you are too close to turn back now. The shaking you feel is not destruction, it's rearrangement. Everything that's not aligned with your purpose is being removed to make space for the fulfillment of what's written. You may have wondered why relationships ended suddenly, why plans fell apart without warning, why the path that looked stable suddenly collapsed. But heaven is protecting your scroll. Some people were attached to an old version of you and could not survive the weight of your next level. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. And Michael is standing between your present and your promise, ensuring that nothing unworthy crosses the line with you. Now hear this, your words in this season carry judicial weight. What you declare is what heaven records. Speak faith and it becomes evidence. Speak fear, and the accuser uses it as a claim against you. You must guard your tongue as much as your thoughts, for your language either strengthens Michael's sword or dulls it. When you declare, "I believe my promise will not be stolen," the declaration becomes a command in heaven's court. Angels respond to words aligned with truth. The enemy hopes you will remain silent, for silence can sometimes look like surrender. But this is not your moment to whisper, this is your moment to roar in faith. You must declare your promise every morning like it's already fulfilled. Say it when you wake, say it before you sleep, say it until your spirit vibrates with conviction. The more you speak, the more heaven moves. And while you do, make sure you share this revelation with those who need it. There are others right now whose promises are under siege. Your faith is trembling. Your voice could ignite theirs. Share this truth so they too can awaken the Michael assigned to their destiny. Comment your declaration below, not as a gesture, but as a spiritual act. Each word typed in faith creates movement in the unseen. And don't forget to subscribe, because this journey you are walking isn't just storytelling. It's a spiritual alignment. Each word spoken here is designed to strengthen your connection to heaven's rhythm. When you stay tuned to revelation, you stay in rhythm with divine timing. This is not just about watching, it's about aligning. Michael is watching too. His eyes are filled with the memory of battles fought for souls who chose faith over fear. You are part of that lineage now, the generation that doesn't retreat when the war gets intense. You are the voice that breaks curses, the vessel that carries generational deliverance. The promise you're guarding is bigger than your life. It's a prophecy for those who will come after you. So rise, even if your knees tremble. Stand, even if your strength feels gone. Heaven is reinforcing you even now. The same fire that fuels Michael's sword burns within you, the fire of endurance, of belief, of unstoppable faith. Let that fire consume every lie, every fear, every shadow that tries to convince you your time is over. Your time has not passed, it has arrived. The scroll of your destiny is opening wider. The ink of heaven is still writing your next chapter, and Michael is ensuring no hand of darkness alters its script. All you must do is stay aligned, stay faithful, and stay alert. Something immense is stirring, you will soon see what has been hidden, and when it manifests, you'll realize that every tear, every delay, every silence had purpose. The heavens are preparing to reveal what they've been protecting. Stay till the end. You are moments away from divine unveiling. My beloved child, deep within the chambers of heaven, there is a sound that only the angels of war understand, a frequency that trembles through eternity when a chosen one rises in faith. It is the sound of Michael's sword awakening. It does not awaken for ordinary prayers. It awakens when belief pierces through fear, when a child of light finally understands who they are. That moment has come for you. You may not feel ready, but heaven has already declared you equipped. The whisper that tells you otherwise is not humility. It's interference. Michael's sword burns with truth. It shines brighter when your faith is active, and its power magnifies when you declare heaven's words. Do you realize what happens when you speak life? The sword vibrates with your words, extending the reach of divine defense around you. Every affirmation of faith sharpens it further. Every word of despair dulls it. The sword does not merely fight for you. It fights with you. Your agreement with heaven turns you from a passive receiver into an active warrior. You may think that angels fight alone, but the truth is they fight through your obedience. When you act in courage, when you choose forgiveness, when you love instead of hate. Michael's blade cuts through layers of darkness that would have taken years to remove otherwise. Your obedience releases acceleration. What was meant to take 10 years can shift in a moment because one act of surrender amplifies divine power. The time you are living in now is not ordinary. The atmosphere around you is filled with prophetic tension. The air itself feels charted because heaven's clock has struck a critic loud. The delay is ending, and the acceleration has begun. You will notice how suddenly things will begin to align. Doors that were shut will swing open. Opportunities that vanished will reappear stronger than before, and people meant for your next chapter will start finding their way back into your life. This is not luck. It's orchestration. Michael had been rearranging timelines to bring your promise into visibility, but here lies the mystery. Every activation of light draws attention from darkness. That is why the moment blessings begin to move toward you, battles rise from nowhere. The conflict is proof that manifestation has started. The enemy is not creative. He repeats what has worked in the past: distraction, offense, confusion. When you start rising, he sends noise. But noise is not power. Do not confuse attention from the enemy as dominance, it's simply desperation. He knows he is losing control. In the stillness of your spirit, heaven whispers strategy. This is not the time to panic. It is the time to listen. Michael never draws his sword recklessly. Every strike he delivers is intentional. Likewise, every move you make in this season must carry intention. Don't react to chaos, respond with clarity. Every moment you stay calm, you deny darkness a foothold. Every decision rooted in peace confuses the enemy because peace is the realm where heaven operates. If you could see what is happening around you right now, you would weep, not from fear, but from awe. There are angels stationed at every exit and entry point of your destiny. There are lights forming barriers around your home, your mind, your relationships, and Michael stands at the center, his sword drawn high, ensuring that no weapon formed against you prospers. But the one thing he cannot guard is your own agreement with defeat. That is why your greatest battle is internal. You must win within before heaven manifests victory without. The enemy whispers lies softly because he knows loud distractions can be resisted, but quiet doubts slip through unnoticed. Watch your inner dialogue. Guard your mind like you guard a treasured chest. Your thoughts are the gates to your promise. Keep them saturated with lie. Every time you doubt, remember this: heaven has not changed its mind about you. The assignment still stands. The scroll remains open. The promise is still valid. You have not failed too much to be chosen again. You are still on heaven's list of living miracles, and my beloved child, don't keep this fire to yourself. This moment is not only yours. There are countless others standing where you once stood, tired, fearful, and uncertain if heaven even remembers their name. You must be the voice that reaches them. Share this revelation so they can awaken their own warrior spirit. Leave a comment declaring what you believe heaven is still going to do for you. Your words will not just inspire, they will ignite. When you share light, it multiplies. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this movement of revelation. Every message here is a prophetic continuation, a divine current flowing directly into your spirit. The moment you stay connected, you stay protected. And as you align with truth repeatedly, the energy of doubt begins to dissolve. Let your digital connection reflect your spiritual commitment. A declaration that you are not only listening, but also moving. Now close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the sword of Michael gleaming with celestial fire, hovering above the very situation that has burdened your heart. Imagine that fire consuming every scheme of darkness, fear melting away, chains breaking silently, invisible walls collapsing under heaven's light. Feel the warmth of victory settling into your chest. That is not imagination, that is revelation. What you are sensing is the truth heaven had been waiting to show you. You are not losing, you are transitioning. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it's promotion. And as this realization settles into your soul, remember that your response determines your rhythm. Speak faith, act boldly, walk humbly, and above all, never forget that your greatest weapon is consistency. Heaven doesn't move by emotion, it moves by endurance. Keep praying when it's quiet, keep believing when it's dark, keep declaring when nothing changes. That is how you synchronize with Michael's motion. You have entered the zone of divine confirmation. You will begin to see symbols around you. Numbers, signs, unexpected coincidences. These are heavenly reminders that your warfare has been acknowledged. Do not dismiss them as random. Each sign is a whisper from above, saying, "I'm still here." Keep guarding, the sound of Michael's sword is rising now, vibrating through dimensions. It's moving toward your promise, cutting through resistance, illuminating what was hidden. You don't have to chase your destiny, it's already chasing you. Just keep the gates of faith open. Something enormous is forming beyond the horizon. The heavens are orchestrating a reveal so stunning that even the angels watch in silence. Stay alert, stay in position, and do not break your focus. The moment of manifestation is approaching faster than you realize. Stay till the end, the shift you've prayed for is about to break through the clouds. My beloved child, when heaven begins to move in your favor, the first thing that happens is not always celebration, it is confrontation. Light exposes what darkness has hidden, and the moment your promise begins to approach, the hidden chains around your life start to rattle. You may have felt it already, the sudden tension in your atmosphere, the rise of old fears, the people who once supported you suddenly going silent. Don't mistake it for chaos. This is what freedom sounds like when it begins. There are invisible chains that try to hold destiny in place. They are not made of metal, but of memory. Fear, guilt, regret, and words spoken against your potential. Every lie the enemy told you about your worth became a link in those chains, but now, Archangel Michael is standing in front of you, sword blazing with divine light, striking one chain at a time. Each strike releases a vibration that travels through time, breaking old cycles, righting old patterns, and clearing ancestral weight you didn't even know you carried. You might feel it as sudden restlessness, as though your spirit cannot sit still. It's because the cage that once held you is breaking apart. The same way the walls of Jericho fell not by force but by faith, so too will your barriers fall through the sound of your belief. You are not breaking down, you are breaking out. Heaven is shifting you from limitation to liberation, from waiting to wanting. The enemy has tried to convince you that you are still bound, that the failures of your past define the borders of your future. But Michael's voice echoes through the heavens, declaring, "No more." His command reverberates through every spiritual structure built to limit your expansion. The moment you receive that declaration, the chains lose power. But for them to remain broken, you must step out of the prison mentally as well as spiritually. Heaven can open the door, but you must walk through it. Your freedom is not passive, it requires participation. You must release what no longer serves your purpose. Some friendships, some habits, some environments are tied to the version of you that heaven is trying to retire. You cannot walk into a new chapter holding the hand of an old season. It is time to let go, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. You are ascending, and elevation always demands separation. When Michael fights, he doesn't just defend, he clears. His presence dismantles confusion. That's why, lately, you may feel a strange clarity in your spirit, a quiet conviction that some things no longer belong. It's heaven whispering transition. Don't resist it. Trust it. Every closure is an opening in disguise. Every goodbye is a gate toward greater alignment. And while this process unfolds, you must guard your heart. The enemy will try to reattach what heaven is removing. You will send old distractions in new packaging, familiar patterns dressed as fresh opportunities. But discernment is your shield. The moment you sense unrest about something, step back and pray. Peace is the signature of heaven. Confusion is the echo of the enemy. Learn to tell the difference. This is also the moment to strengthen your spiritual voice, speak over your life daily. The more you declare your freedom, the more heaven confirms it. Your words have power, my beloved child. They are the blueprint of your reality. Say, I am free from every invisible chain. I'm walking into my promise without fear, and when you say it, mean it. Heaven listens to conviction. Now listen carefully. The reason your warfare feels intense right now is that you are standing at the border of manifestation. The enemy is using his final resources because he knows once you cross this threshold, his access to your life will end. That is why he's pressing harder. Why the opposition seems stronger. But that pressure is proof of proximity. It means you are close. Michael's sword glows brightest when the victory is moments away. The heavens are aligning around your faith. Angels are not debating your worth. They are waiting for your word. The moment you declare "I'm ready," the spiritual realm releases acceleration. Miracles begin to collide with your path. Delays turn into sudden opportunities. What seemed impossible starts to look inevitable. This is not fantasy. This is divine law in motion. Heaven always responds to decisive faith. And now I need you to do something powerful. If you believe this word, share it. Don't scroll past it. Don't silence it. Someone you know is fighting invisible chains of their own, and your act of sharing could unlock their faith. Comment your declaration below. Even one sentence of faith releases spiritual light into your space. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. This journey is not just storytelling. It's warfare through revelation. Every word spoken here builds your shield a little stronger. When you stay connected to divine instruction, the enemy loses his foothold. Michael stands ready beside you. His eyes blaze like the dawn, and his voice echoes with authority. He's whispering now, not in thunder, but in truth. Move. You waited long enough. The season of hesitation is over. The gates are open, zip forward. Every step you take in faith multiplies your protection. Every act of courage strengthens heaven's response. Soon, you'll look back and realize that everything that broke you was actually building you. The chains that once defined you will become testimonies you use to inspire others. You will speak. And freedom will flow through your words. You will carry an anointing that unlocks others from the same prisons that tried to hold you. This is how heaven redeems pain, by transforming it into power. So, rise now. The darkness has no claim over you anymore. Michael's sword has drawn the final line. You are free. Not tomorrow, not eventually, but now. The only thing left to do is to walk like it's true. Stand tall, breathe deep, and declare with all the faith in your spirit that no force in heaven or hell can block what has already been decreed. Don't skip, because what comes next will reveal the final strategy heaven has prepared for your victory. Something magnificent is unfolding just beyond your sight. My beloved child, when a destiny approaches fulfillment, heaven and hell both take notice. The spiritual atmosphere around you thickens because what has been unseen is about to manifest into the visible world. This is the point where most people retreat, the moment where the storm seems louder than the promise. But do not be deceived by noise. A storm is not meant to drown you. It's meant to announce you. Every clash of thunder, every gust of wind is the sound of heaven making room for your breakthrough. Archangel Michael now stands at the edge of two realms, the unseen and the seen. He stands between what hath been promised and what is about to unfold. His wings are stretched wide. And his sword blazes brighter than before. The battlefield is drawn, not on the earth, but within your spirit. This is the confrontation that separates those who are chosen from those who are merely called. You are not fighting for your promise anymore. You are fighting from it. The victory already exists. You are simply walking toward its unveiling. Look at your life right now. Everything that seems unstable, everything that's shaking, everything that's being stripped away, it's not punishment, it's purification. Heaven cannot build destiny on foundations that are fractured. That's why this confrontation is necessary. Every lie that has ever spoken against your worth is being exposed. Every spiritual force that has tried to block your growth is being commanded to bow. You may not see the war, but your spirit feels it. The unease you sense isn't fear, it's divine activity. There is a reason Michael was sent to you in this season. You are carrying something that cannot be left unguarded, a purpose so immense that the darkness has calculated every possible attempt to stop it. But heaven foresaw every strike long before the enemy planned it. A blueprint of your prediction was written before you were born. You were not just assigned a guardian. You were given a commander, one who leads heavenly armies with the voice of divine justice. And now, he moves. You may feel sudden clarity after confusion, or peace in the midst of turmoil. That's not coincidence. That's Michael peering the atmosphere. You might notice that certain doors close abruptly. That is not rejection. That's protection. You might lose access to environments you once thrived in, but those places can no longer contain your anointing. Michael removes what would sabotage the next level of your assignment. Every no you receive in this season is heaven's way of saying, I have something higher. You are now being positioned. The confrontation of light and shadow always ends the same way, with revelation. The truth about who you are is being revealed, not just to you, but to the world. That is why the warfare intensified. Because exposure is near. The same people who doubted you will witness the hand of heaven on your life. The same voices that called you forgotten will speak of your elevation. Michael doesn't just defend, he vindicates. When heaven defends a promise, it turns attacks into announcements. But you must stand firm. The enemy will try to whisper in this moment, subtle lies disguised as logic. He'll tell you that it's safer to wait, that maybe your season has not come, that perhaps you've misheard heaven's voice. Do not listen. Hesitation at this stage is spiritual sabotage. The battle is already won, but heaven needs your agreement to seal it. Faith is your signature on the victory decree. You cannot afford to stay silent now. Lift your voice. Speak the truth of your promise into the atmosphere. Declare my destiny is secure. My promise is protected. My time is now. As you speak, Michael's sword ignites brighter, cutting through the final layers of resistance. Each word of faith carries power, sending shockwaves through the unseen. You are not just praying, you are legislating. Your declaration carries spiritual authority because heaven recognizes your alignment. And as you stand in that authority, remember to share what you've received. The power of revelation multiplies when it is spoken. There are people around you who are drowning in battles similar to yours. unaware that they too have a Michael assigned to them. Share this message not as content, but as calling. Let your voice awaken faith in others. Comment your declaration. Proclaim your belief. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not for altruistic numbers, but for divine connection. Every moment of engagement here is an act of unity with the heavenly army that surrounds you. The confrontation you are in now is not about survival. It's about confirmation. The promise is no longer hidden. It is being brought into the open. This is why you've been feeling the pressure to make choices, to step into new directions, to release what no longer fits. That inner tension is heaven's way of pushing you forward. The moment you obey, the weight will lift. The storm will come, not because it disappears, but because you will rise above it. Michael fights best when you move in obedience. His power follows your step. Every act of courage you take sends light into the darkness. Every time you refuse to quit, the darkness loses its clang. And as this confrontation reaches its climax, the final illusion of defeat will shatter. You will realize that the enemy never had power, only permission, and that permission has just expired. The heavens are roaring now. The clouds of resistance are breaking. Light is flooding every dark place that once seemed unreachable. The atmosphere around your destiny is changing frequency. You are crossing over into the land of manifestation, the season where promises breathe and miracles materialize. The struggle was not wasted, it was a woo of your testimony. So lift your eyes, beloved child. Look beyond the noise. The battle is ending, and the glory is beginning. Michael lowers his sword now, not in surrender, but in victory. His assignment is not over, but his war in this phase is won. And as he steps back, you will feel the air change. Lighter, freer, filled with the completion. That is the scent of victory. Stay vigilant, but stay grateful. Praise is your proof that you trust the outcome. Sing even when you don't see the full picture yet. The sound of gratitude builds walls of protection around your promise that no enemy can penetrate. Stay till the end. The final revelation is approaching, and it will change everything you've ever believed about your purpose. My beloved child, there is a sacred moment in every spiritual journey when the war begins to quiet and what once was hidden in the storm begins to take form. This is that moment for you. The dust of battle may still linger in the air, but the sound of victory now hums beneath it. You may feel both exhausted and alive, both wounded and renewed, because heaven has been reshaping your spirit while Michael has been defending your destiny. This is not the end of your warfare. It is the beginning of your covenant. A covenant is not a mere promise. It is a divine agreement sealed in endurance. Heaven has seen your faith hold steady through the shaking, and now it prepares to reward you openly. The unseen battles you fought in silence have been worshipped. Every tear you shed had been collected in heaven's archives as evidence of trust. Loving you endured was foregone. Every moment of pain was shaping the purity of your belief, and now, Michael stands beside the throne, sword lowered, waiting the next instruction not to fight but to witness your elevation. The heavens are opening over you, and a new sound is being released, the sound of confirmation. This is the hour where what was spoken to your spirit begins to echo through your surroundings. Doors will recognize your name before you even knock. People you've never met will be drawn to help you without knowing why. Divine favor will move like a current, carrying you toward the exact coordinates of your destiny. But this movement requires one thing: unshakable faith. Unshakable faith is not built in peace. It's forged in pressure. It's the kind of faith that stands tall when the evidence says fall. It's the faith that looks into uncertainty and calls it opportunity. Heaven calls it the faith that commands angels. When you stand in that posture, even Michael bows in recognition, for it reflects the very authority of the one who sent him. This faith is not loud. It is steady. It doesn't beg. It declares. It doesn't panic. It aligns. You have been trained for this moment through every trial that once made you question your purpose. My beloved child, the heavens have grown still. The thunder that once roared in the distance has quieted. The trembling of the earth beneath your spirit has slowed. There is only one sound left, the steady rhythm of your heart aligned with divine timing. This is it, the moment every tear, every delay, every battle has been leading toward, the unveiling of your promise. You have come through the night that few survive. You have walked through fire without burning, through storms without sinking. And now, as dawn begins to break, the first light of your fulfillment appears on the horizon. Archangel Michael stands beside you, his sword no longer drawn for battle but raised in reverence. His face shines with something holy, satisfaction. He has completed his command. The promise is no longer just a word written in heaven. It is alive, breathing, ready to take its place in your reality. You can feel it, can't you? The deep calm in your spirit that tells you something has shifted forever. It's not adrenaline. It's awareness. Heaven has done what it said it would do. Look closely at your life now. Things that once broke you have become bridges. The pain that once silenced you has become your platform. Every no that once wounded you has turned into a not yet that protected you. You see it now. Heaven was never denying you. It was defining you. Every unanswered prayer was not rejection. It was redirection. Every closed door was heaven's way of saying not here, not yet, but soon. And now is that soon. You are standing in a season of unveiling, a divine moment where everything hidden becomes visible. The same God who wrote your promise is now revealing it through your life. This is what Michael was protecting all along, not just your survival, but your unveiling. You were meant to shine at this hour. You were meant to rise after the fall, to walk when others stayed still, to believe when logic demanded you quit. You have become a living testimony that light cannot be extinguished. Heaven is releasing your name into places you've never entered. It's whispering your purpose into hearts that carry your next opportunity. You will begin to see doors opening without effort, favor appearing without explanation, peace flowing without struggle. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The divine promise is unfolding precisely as it was written. The timing is not late. It's perfect. Michael watches as heaven restores what was lost. You will not receive back what you lost in the same form. You will receive it multiplied, purified, and prepared for your future. The relationships meant to stay will return with maturity. The resources withheld will arrive in overflow. What once felt like punishment will soon look like positioning. Nothing was wasted. Even your wilderness served a purpose. It taught you discernment, patience, and strength. And now those lessons will sustain your harvest, but remember, beloved child, this unveiling is not the end of your journey. It is the start of your legacy. The promise is not a reward. It's a responsibility. Heaven gives you manifestation so that you can multiply. You are now called to be the guardian of your own light, just as Michael guarded your path. Protect your peace. Guard your purpose. Keep your spirit too. For every new level of blessing demands a deeper level of discipline. Your testimony must now become someone else's roadmap. Speak boldly about what heaven has done. Tell the truth about your battles, not to glorify the pain, but to magnify the provider. When you share your story, you transform your scars into strength. Someone's faith will awaken because they see themselves in your survival. It is how heaven continues its cycle of deliverance, one obedient voice at a time. If you can feel the weight lifting from your shoulders, that's because it is finished. The heavy presence that lingered during warfare has given way to the lightness of glory. You no longer need to fight to prove your worth. Your existence is the proof. Michael's final act is to mark you with divine assurance, a seal invisible to man but recognized by heaven. Wherever you go, favor will precede you. Wherever you stand, peace will protect you. Take a deep breath. Let gratitude fill you until your heart trembles with awe. This is not just your victory. It's heaven's victory through you. You were not chosen because you were the strongest. You were chosen because you didn't quit. You believed, even when belief felt like breaking. You trusted, even when trust cost you everything. And because of that, heaven has entrusted you with its greatest treasure, testimony. Michael now bows before the throne, mission fulfilled. His sword returns to light. His armor gleams with peace. His final words are not shouted but whispered, gentle as a promise. Guard what hath been given, live what hath been written. The covenant is complete. And with that, the realm around you settles into sacred silence. You stand now at the gate of a new beginning. Behind you lies the battlefield, the noise, the doubts, the fear. Before you stretches an open path, golden with divine clarity. Walk through it with confidence. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are transformed. You carry the fragrance of victory, the wisdom of endurance, and the fire of faith. My beloved child, your promise lives. It breathes, it shines, it radiates through your every step. Go forward and let your light do what it was always meant to do, illuminate others. You are proof that no darkness can defeat destiny, no delay can erase divine design, and no enemy can silence what heaven has decreed. This is your moment, your unveiling, your dawn. Walk in it with the assurance that Archangel Michael still watches from the heavens, not as your warrior now, but as your witness. The promise has been fulfilled, and your destiny has begun. The story is complete, but your purpose is eternal. Shine, beloved child, shine.